So Joe, one of the things that I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing about is when the brand actually started and why it's called Factor. And we were talking about that crazy bike that we brought in for a customer. It was probably 2009, 10.
Yep. Again, I still have a soft spot for that bike. It's a pretty cool piece of engineering. It's neat that you're probably one of the few shops in the US that has ever actually seen one of those in person. For the carbon nerds out there, when you see that bike in person, you look and it's like, oh, this is a pretty cool piece of engineering to actually get this bike to be real. This was 2008, 2009. It was a bike that had integrated power meter, integrated heads-up unit in the handlebar.
The heads-up unit, it was like a dashboard from Star Trek.
And I mean, just straight up disc brakes. It had disc brakes in 2008.
Yeah.
That didn't exist. That really started 5-6 years later where it actually started coming. We had custom modified Di2 10-speed Dura-Ace groups to be disc brake. They were modded rim brake groups because Shimano didn't make disc brakes yet. So that
bike was called?
It was the Aston Martin Factor 001. Yes, so a pretty cool bike. We still have a few of those around the office. Maybe we'll get one in for show one of these days.
And hence the Factor. So the brand name was born.
Yep.
Okay.
So we came out of this British F1 project effectively, working hand in hand with our founder Rob Jatellis for the manufacturing of these bikes. And then as John Bailey, who's actually was one of the original founders here, is actually still involved. He's our UK distributor these days. And so he and Rob still are close and work together. And Rob runs things from our head office in Taichung, Taiwan these days.
So that's another thing that I found to be super interesting that I didn't know before we chatted today was that you guys have your own facility. And we were talking earlier about, there's not very many companies that actually manufacture their own bikes. Yep. In fact, there's very few. Can you speak to a little bit about how that all started and what's going on over in the factory?
Yeah. No, it really comes from, Rob's background of wanting to, just make something cool and like to that ability to figure it out and want to, do the bike brand in his way and how he sees fit. His background was making the high-end complex parts for just about everybody. And when, the opportunity came to start his own thing and really build what he wanted to, his idea is to make the best bike. And to make the best bike, you've got to be the one to make it. And so when you look at the bike industry as a whole, it is pretty limited of the actual manufacturers and how the bikes are made in, wherever in the world they are made. But for us to actually make it in our own facilities, it gives us a lot of advantages from design and iteration where we can test, we can play around, we can try things where we've had projects that, sometimes we've made 2 bikes. It didn't end up being what we wanted. It's time for a new mold. Let's try again. Let's make it the best thing we possibly can. And so having that ability to, iterate and design at our own speed is huge. It also gives us the flexibility from a supply and demand standpoint where, if we've got a model that we need more of, we can get those out. We can get them to you guys in the shop and to the customers super quickly. So it's, it allows us to be super nimble and to create the, like the bleeding edge fastest bikes out there.
Speaking of fast, wheels, black ink, wheels, handlebars, one piece, seat posts. Did that happen at the same time or did that come in later? I don't think a lot of people know that the 2 companies are pretty much the same company.
Black Ink actually was first.
Okay.
Rob has been running Black Ink for quite a while. And he's had a pretty good depth of product in that lineup. I look across the product line and I see, a pretty, selfishly, a fantastic line from both shallow climbing wheels to full-on time trial and some of the fastest wheels in the world of a really, really complete product line. We see a huge value in fit on a bike, and we want to make sure that the rider fits their bike. And that's why we allow, our customers and our shops to choose their bar stem, their seat post offset. And that's why we offer 28 sizes of bar stem.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like if I pull up the inventory in Boulder right now, I've got 27 of the 28 currently in stock. Yeah.
The relationship with Ceramic Speed, how did that come about? That's a big differentiator for you guys for headsets and bottom brackets. How did that happen?
Rob has been close with the team over there for a number of years as well. One of his skill sets is he knows everybody in Taiwan. He's one of the best at it. And so in chasing, he wants to make sure that, like I said, the bikes are the best. So we're choosing the top line products that both from a performance and serviceability standpoint. The SLT headset bearings spec'd on all of our frames. There can be some concern around internal routing on full bikes, but those SLT bearings are fantastic as a headset option, and that's something that we want to make sure is stock out of the box on a bike, where it's something that this is a bike you can get on, you can ride, you can race, and it's going to work, and it's going to work well.
You guys do water bottle cages?
We do. We actually have 2 different bottle cages. We have our standard cages, or the standard black ink cages, and then we do have an aero cage that is specifically tailored for the Ostro and Monza frames, and the Slick actually. And so it's an aerodynamic benefit to the frames, but still uses a standard water bottle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me about the wheel warranty, the crash replacement wheel warranty stuff, because people crash their bikes.
It happens, unfortunately. So we do. We work with our retailers for crash replacement. Effectively, black ink, it's 50% off retail, and then factor, it's a bit at. It's effectively landed cost replacement on a frame set. So we try to manage, and we understand that people can break things. We want to start on on our end and make sure that we avoid any manufacturing defects we possibly can in the first place. And to if there are manufacturing defects in a product, it's something we absolutely stand behind and we're going to take care of for the original owner. We try to make it pretty easy to work with. We just need a receipt, and we'll take it from there.
Your daily driver is a.
I am on the Ostro VAM currently. As you were commenting earlier on my little bars,
Little person bars.
I love a long stretched out position, 36 130 cockpit, levers, maybe not UCI legal, but running the 62s. I'm not winning any bunch sprints, but I'm going to go on lap 2 and try and stay solo for the rest of that race.
Oh man, okay, you heard it here first. Well, maybe second. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for your time, buddy. Okay, now get your kitties, get to the table.
Hopefully there's a usable soundbite or two in there.